And Dr. Anthony VT, your expert behavioral analyst, licensed global coach, and your strategist maximizing your full potential. Now today, as you can see, we'll be talking about the word create. What does the word create mean? To create means to bring into existence. That means the context that we're talking about right now is your product. Now, every person has a product. Sometimes it's a tangible product, and sometimes you are the product. Or sometimes something that you make that becomes your product. Doesn't matter which way you see it. It all starts with the word create. And I want to tell you that you have got the ability to create whatever you want if you put your mind to it. So in the word create, I want you to bring into existence something that the world will talk about. In fact, you don't want them to stop talking about it because they'll be so excited that you've brought the solution. So when we look at the word create, the first part of the acronym is here, the C for creator. Now, there's just no argument. There is a creator. All you have to do is look around you. Look up, look down, look sideways. There's a creator. In fact, bringing into existence, I can't help but thinking of a great book that says, the heavens declare his glory and the skies proclaim his handiworks. Well, that's the big creator himself, because it started with, we cannot create until we realize that there's a creator that gave us the capacity to create. So in him being the creator, just if you're in doubt, do me a favor, just tomorrow morning when it's still dark, just sit and watch with a nice cup of coffee and a rusk, and you know what, that beautiful sunrise will just break through and you'll know, wow, there must be a creator. That's just the way it is. But here's the good news. He is the creator, but so are you. So am I. Because he's given me the capacity, he's given you the capacity to also co-create. Because as we co-create, we bring into existence ideas. And ideas, if followed by action, will produce a product. Now the context here is having a great product on the market. I don't know what you're going to choose. Every person's got a different way to choose, but I want to tell you this. You have got it in you to create what is necessary as a solution to the people out there. In fact, that is where sales emanated from. People needed something, and somebody started up and saying, I've got item A, and you would barter or trade for that. That's where sales originated from. But there never would have been sales if you didn't have a product. Because the product is what really brought about the sale. That's what's so important, to realize you have to bring your creative juices, those creative energies, just bring them together and you will create the product that you need that will become the solution to a wanting and needing market. In fact, if you haven't done so yet, here's how you start. You literally go and sit down and do a brainstorming exercise, or what we call a think tank. Pen and paper, and just say, I'm going to write down whatever comes to my mind. And here's the beauty, whatever comes to mind. So many people start and go, oh, no, that, not that. No. Brainstorming means you literally start writing and writing and writing, and because from the one word will come a spin-off of the next word and the next word. That's what it means to create. So you can create your own momentum through your ideation so that you can create your product as you start talking about it. So there's your first one. You are the creator of whatever's within you. And I can tell you one thing. You can look outside of yourself and maybe follow on and create something that is a lookalike. But I've learned so many times, watching the people who dig deep and they get that special thing from the inside, that's what helps them create a product that will revolutionize you and the world. So the first word or the first letter in that acronym was the C for creator. Remember, you are the creator. Now the R. What will the R be? Well, this is very, very vital so that you can make sure that you are relevant, because you're going to have to do your research. Nothing will help if you didn't do proper research. If there's already existing product in the market and there's multiples of them and they look exactly the same, why be the same? Why produce something that's already in existence? The only time that works is where we have something like, let's say, bread. Bread that can be reproduced because you need many bakeries to bake bread. But the recipe, more or less the same. Bread is bread is bread. But we know one thing, because of the basic need, people will need it over and over and over. So in terms of your research, there's a big tip in just talking about the baking of bread. Because you, the creator, have got the baker inside of you. And to say, what can I produce that everybody will want? Now there's two ways to the scale. It's like really a balance beam. The one extent is, what is there that I can do research on that everybody needs? And yes, you'll make money, but you'll battle to get it into the market because there'll be so much competition. Or you can come to this end of the scale where you say, what can I create that is unique? I'm the only one that offers this solution. Oh wow, boom! And you will have what makes you a multi-millionaire in US dollars as before you even know it. Why? Because what you have to offer, everybody wants. But because of its uniqueness, we have the problem of supply and demand. So this is what you want to do. When you do your research, look at the issue of supply and demand, because the more difficult it is to supply a wanted item, the greater the demand, and therefore the higher the price will be. That is where we find out how to price an item. So when it comes to that, you be the creator, you do your research. Then the next letter in this acronym, this E, the E that says extra. What will you offer extra when it comes to your product? Is your product just like I said, bread? But remember, within bread, there's white bread, there's brown bread, there's rye bread, and so it goes on. So bread within itself is not sufficient. So when you want to put a product on the market, you have to look at what does yours bring extra. For instance, when they started off with apples, we started with the good old red apples, and we had green apples. And somebody went, well, why don't we cross-pollinate them? And we sort of got one in between. And out of that was birthed a reddish yellow apple. And out of that was birthed a yellow apple. So it all depends on what extra commodity you want to create. Remember, you are the creator. Nothing stops you to experiment and keep on doing your research and find out what is the extra that you would like to deliver. Now that extra comes through experimentation. You'll try and you'll fail. You'll try and you'll fail. Try and you'll fail. But it's okay. Every time you fail, get up again. It doesn't matter how many times you failed. It matters how many times you get up and make a difference. I mean, just take a person like Edison. Edison had 1,000 shots at trying to bring forth what we call today electricity. And you know what? I love Edison. If I could see him in front of me, I would take him and go, mwah, I'll kiss him right here on the head. Because man, electricity has made my life so easy. So you see, that was the extra that he had. Yet the extra capacity, after he did research upon research, fail upon fail, and then to rise up again, success upon success, and today we have the extra dimension of energy in the form of light. So what does your product deliver? And what can it deliver? So you want to really sort of do in your research also, what is the need that the market has out there? Now, if you produce something that nobody wants, so who's going to buy it? You might be able to give it away for free. But ultimately, when it comes to a product, in the back of your mind is, how can I sell this? How can I use this to provide a living for me? So if you find that little answer, the extra dimension that you're adding, your product will rise to the next level. So, we've had this acronym. We've had the C for creator. We've had the R for research. We've had the E for extra. Now the next letter in this acronym, the A for, can you guess it? Align. In fact, this is the most important out of all of these letters, because it's right in the nucleus of the word create. Because align is really the importance of aligning your product to your original vision. If your original vision was to be the best supplier of children's apparel, you want to make sure that you align with that vision and stick to your vision. It is so easy to get sidetracked. The moment your vision gets muddy, it gets blurry, I want to tell you, you lose focus. And the moment you lose focus, you lose income. It will affect your bottom line. So what you want to do is align whatever your product is that you're creating with the original vision that was implanted upon your mind, upon your heart, that you want to bring to your hands. So definitely align it. Sometimes when it gets blurry, I find the guys have to go and find like a spray liquid and spray it a bit and rub it. But you know what? It's still blurry. Just say to yourself, what was the original vision? And align to that original vision, and you cannot go wrong. That alignment is the key factor that will keep you in the nucleus of developing your product the way that you should develop it. Align. Then we have the next one, and that is the word touch. Now this is subliminal here, and that is that you and I know, of course, that we can touch physically. That is why when people say that if you want to be effective, you want to make your product so tangible that people say that they can taste it, they can smell it, they can smell it, they can feel it, because you want to use all your 5 senses to literally be effective with your product. But touching is physical, but there's a little key. If you can help people touch it emotionally, that's next level. That's why people say, for instance, in the insurance industry, what they do is they use something that will take your emotion and plug it in. Such as, insurance will use children. You and I know, you can do anything but do not touch my child. Therefore, the moment you see a child that is just cute and cuddly and just, you just want to embrace it. Can you see, I'm just getting all excited with 10 grandchildren. No wonder I'm getting so excited. Yes, you want to hold them, you want to embrace them. So if you have the ability, as you create, to align yourself to have the people to touch your product emotionally, you can go next level. Of course, you want people to walk in and have the tangible factor. If they walk into a clothing apparel store, they will pick it up, they will smell it, they will feel the fabric. I can tell you a lot of clothing is sold through the touching of the garment. It's very important. I just think of how many people walk in and they want to buy a shirt. They just touch it and they just move to the next one because it's the touch. So make sure the physical touch is acceptable in the way that you create that product. But most important, make sure that you touch them emotionally. You know, we've spoken about their heads, the hearts, and the hands principle. And that is, they will engage their minds as they think and the ideation to create the product. As you then embrace the emotions, so it goes through the heart. The heart is the filter. I mean, that is the center of who you are. And then into your hands, then that touch will become the factor that will sell your product for you. In fact, it'll sell it by itself. So after the word touch, we have the last one. This one is the difference maker. This one is the one that will really determine what your product will be like in 10 years, in 20 years from now. Why? The energy, yes, the energy that your product radiates is what will make you sustainable. For instance, Henry Ford said, if you wanted a car, you can have it in any color as long as it's black. Sorry, Mr. Ford, you were wrong. Because within the human nature, there is the prism of color. Just look at the rainbow. It's an array of colors and beautiful, and people want to experience that color. So the moment you start putting your energy to resonate with the people, it will sell more. Of course, we know the little LBD, little black dress. It's black, it's been, and that's exactly the number that she needs because it's sophisticated, it's upmarket, and you'll never change it. But the moment you want to create a next level of energy, you bring color into it. And then that vibrancy, that energy, that product can speak volumes to people. So what will you do to put the color into the product that you're creating? Because that color will be the energy that it has to resonate. In fact, there is nothing as boring as just walking in and seeing one color. In fact, some retailers, because they understand energy, because they understand that people want to have their senses appeal to, will make the other colors just in lesser quantities as long as they can just show the spectrum of option. And obviously we're talking about product. We're creating the product, and later on we'll talk about how can option take you to the next level. But here it is. Here's the whole acronym. Create. You are the creator of your product. Have you got it all together? I don't know. The R. Research. Make sure that your research is par excellence and that you've done absolutely everything you can do to make sure you're putting out the best product at its time. E for extra. You want to make sure that the extra part of what it has to communicate just jumps out at people. Find out your niche in that part of extra. Touch. people want to touch it, it must be a tangible product, if possible. Of course, you understand something like social media, it's difficult to make it tangible, but through marketing, you can make it through the emotional factor, a touch factor. And then lastly, of course, the E for energy. Yes, the E for energy. You guys and I want to take that and let the energy speak for itself. Well, I'm Dr. Anthony, and remember, learn every day, lead yourself, inspire others. See you again.